Shelties will outsmart your training before you've even started. I'm serious. And that's the thing with this breed. They're wicked smart, like top-tier smart, consistently ranked in the upper handful of breeds for learning speed.
But it's not just sit, shake, roll over smart. It's herding smart, problem-solving smart. I've been watching you for 3 days, and I know your patterns better than you do, smart. These dogs were bred to manage entire flocks, make decisions on the fly, read a situation and act before anyone told them to. That brain didn't go anywhere just because they moved into your living room.
So here's what that means for you. A Sheltie will absolutely learn fast, but they'll also learn the wrong things fast if you leave gaps. An inconsistent routine? They'll find the loophole. Boring, repetitive drills? They'll check out. You've got to be steady. You've got to be creative. And this part matters. You've got to be confident, because Shelties are watching you.
They're emotionally tuned into their people in a way that catches most first-time owners off guard. If you're frustrated, they know. If you're unsure, they know that too. Positive reinforcement isn't a nice suggestion with this breed. It's the whole strategy.
Potty training is nothing like teaching sit. Teaching sit is a 5-minute problem. Potty training is a campaign. You're fighting your puppy's biology. You're building a communication system from scratch with a creature who doesn't speak English. And you're doing all of that while maintaining near-perfect consistency for weeks. It's a lot.
And the biology piece is real. A young puppy has zero understanding of inside versus outside. When the urge hits, they go. That's it. Their bladder muscles aren't developed, their nervous system isn't mature enough to hold anything for long. And here's the part that really gets people. If your pup has even 3 or 4 accidents on a soft rug, they start to prefer that surface. It becomes their spot in their mind. Now you're not just teaching a new habit, you're breaking an old one. That's a much harder problem.
But honestly, the hardest part isn't the puppy. It's you. Sorry, but it's true. Potty training lives and dies on how committed the human is to the routine, and that routine is exhausting. You're supervising every waking minute. You're using a crate or a tether anytime you can't give full attention. You're taking that puppy outside after every nap, every meal, every little burst of zoomies. And yeah, that wrecks your day. It just does. And the nights, you're setting alarms to take a tiny dog out to pee at 2 a.m. That's the job. Every accident indoors, every single one, needs a full cleanup with an enzymatic cleaner. Not regular soap, not spray and wipe, enzymatic. Because if any scent sticks around, your puppy's nose will find it and they'll go right back to that spot like it's got a neon sign on it. Look, I know this sounds brutal, but knowing how hard it actually is, that's what keeps you from blaming the dog when it gets rough. Your Sheltie is smart enough to get there. That part I'm not worried about. The question is whether you can hold the line long enough for it to click. Before anything else, before commands, before treats, before any of it, pick one spot, and take your puppy directly to that spot the moment you walk through the door with them for the first time. Day 1, not day 2, not once they settle in. Day 1. For a Sheltie, this is huge. They're routine-oriented dogs. One consistent bathroom spot eliminates confusion, keeps your cleanup simple, and saves your whole lawn from turning into a patchwork of brown spots. But don't just pick any random corner of the yard. Think about it. Accessibility is probably the biggest factor. You need to reach this spot fast from whatever door you use most. And it's gotta work in January the same as July. If you can't get there when it's raining or there's ice on the ground, you picked the wrong spot. Surface matters more than people think. Grass works well. It's soft, and it holds the scent of previous trips, which actually helps reinforce the habit.
Mulch or wood chips are solid backups. Pea gravel's popular for dedicated dog runs because it drains well and cleans up easy with a scooper and a hose. Just make sure your dog's okay walking on it first, because some aren't. And if you're working with a balcony or a tiny yard, there are actually decent artificial turf options now with built-in drainage. Not my first choice, but they work. One thing people overlook: shelter and privacy. A little protection from wind and rain helps a lot. And this is especially true for Shelties. Some seclusion matters. Keep it away from busy sidewalks, loud neighbors, your patio where people hang out. Shelties are alert dogs, sensitive to everything going on around them. Too much noise and movement, and they get distracted, can't relax enough to actually finish. You end up with rushed, incomplete eliminations, and then 30 minutes later, they're finishing the job on your kitchen floor. I see this all the time. Whatever spot you pick, keep it, year-round. Don't switch locations between seasons. That just creates confusion you don't need. And here's the mindset shift. Your puppy shows up with absolutely no concept of where a bathroom is. None. They're a blank slate. Your job is to write one rule on that slate. This spot is the bathroom, and everything inside the house is not. You're starting from scratch, which is actually an advantage. It's way easier to build the right habit from day one than to undo a wrong one later. They'll accept whatever you establish as normal, so establish it early and don't change it.
Pick a phrase. Go potty, do your business, whatever you want. Just keep it short, keep it distinct, and for the love of God, keep it the same every time. Don't say go potty on Monday and go pee-pee on Wednesday and hurry up on Friday. Your puppy doesn't know these are all the same request. When you get to the spot, say it calmly, positive tone, not frantic, not impatient. And I cannot stress this enough, make sure everyone in the house uses the exact same phrase. Every person, every time. One family, one command. Otherwise, your Sheltie is hearing 4 different cues for the same thing. And yeah, that's not gonna work.
Okay, so you've got the spot. Now you need your puppy to understand that this spot is where the magic happens. And the way you do that is simple. The second they finish going in the right place, you lose your mind with praise. Happy voice. Yes, good potty, good dog. And then immediately, not 3 seconds later, immediately you hand them a treat. A good one, not kibble, something special that only comes out for successful potty trips. This is the most powerful thing you can do in potty training, and I will die on this hill. That instant reward creates a rock-solid connection in your puppy's brain. I went here, and something amazing happened. It turns a confusing routine into a game they actually want to play. They start seeking out that spot because they know what's coming. Timing, though. Timing is everything. You've got a 1 to 2 second window after they finish. That's it. Dogs live in the present. They don't do 5 minutes ago. If you wait until you're back inside to give the treat, congratulations. You just rewarded them for walking through the door, not for going potty. The yard is already a distant memory. And the treat quality matters. I know it sounds fussy, but a piece of their regular kibble isn't gonna cut it. You need something that makes their eyes go wide, something they don't get any other time. Because when that urge hits and they're standing on your soft carpet thinking, well, this feels pretty good right here, you need the memory of that incredible treat to be strong enough to make them wait. Regular kibble doesn't build that kind of motivation, not even close. Every Sheltie I've ever worked with, and I've lost count at this point, has this look they give you when they know they nailed it. Ears forward, tail going, eyes locked on yours. Like, did you see that? Did you see what I just did? And if you miss that moment, you've wasted it. Positive reinforcement isn't some feel-good buzzword trainers throw around to sound progressive. It's the method that actually works. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior backs it. The AKC backs it. The Humane Society backs it. And I'm telling you from the ground level, having cleaned up more accidents in strangers' living rooms than I care to remember, reward-based training is the fastest path from, "Why does my house smell like this?" to a dog who asks to go outside. Think of it like a paycheck. You wouldn't keep showing up to a job that doesn't pay you. Your Shelties the same way. So the reward needs to be worth the effort. Small bits of chicken, cheese, something that makes their brain light up. And here's the key. You reserve that treat exclusively for outdoor potty success. Nothing else earns it. When the prize is that good, your dog starts wanting to go outside just to collect. And always, always layer in some genuine verbal praise on top. High-pitched, embarrassing in front of your neighbors kind of praise. Shelties eat that up. Your excitement is its own reward for them. Now, punishment. I gotta say this because people still do it. Yelling, scolding, shoving their nose in it. It doesn't work. It's cruel, and it's also just stupid strategy. You're destroying the one thing that makes training possible, which is trust. There was a study in 2020, published in PLOS ONE, that actually measured this physiologically. Dogs trained with aversive methods, leash corrections, yelling, that kind of thing, showed more stress behaviors during sessions and had significantly elevated cortisol levels afterward compared to dogs trained with rewards. We're not guessing here. The stress is measurable. And Shelties? Shelties feel everything. They're not the breed you can muscle through training with. They need a partner, not a drill sergeant. Harsh treatment makes them shut down. Or worse, it makes them anxious, reactive, the opposite of what you want. The strongest thing you've got going for you in training is the relationship. Burn that, and you've got nothing to build on. I'm gonna tell you something that sounds boring, and I don't care. Routine is the whole game. If you get nothing else from this, get this. A predictable, consistent schedule is the single most important thing you can do for potty training a Sheltie. And the good news is, Shelties actually want this. They're creatures of habit. They like knowing what's coming. It makes them feel secure. A solid routine teaches them when and where to go, cuts accidents way down, and gives them the kind of structure their brain craves. So your puppy's day should have dedicated blocks. Napping, playing, training, eating, potty breaks. Same order, same times, every day. And I know that sounds rigid, but here's what it does. It regulates their digestive system, which means their elimination patterns become predictable, which means you stop guessing and start knowing. Feeding at the same times every day is probably the single most impactful habit you can build. When meals are on a fixed schedule, bathroom needs follow like clockwork. 2 or 3 meals a day, doesn't matter, as long as they're always at the same time. And do not leave food out all day. Free feeding is a nightmare for potty training because you can't predict when they'll need to go if you don't know when the food went in. Control the input, you control the output. It's that simple. Okay, 5 potty break times. These are non-negotiable. Tattoo them on your brain. First, immediately when they wake up. This is the most predictable potty moment in your dog's entire day. Night sleep, nap, doesn't matter. Eyes open, feet hit the ground, you go straight to the potty spot. No detours. Second, shortly after every meal. Eating kicks the digestive system into gear. A young puppy's gonna need to go within 10 to 30 minutes of finishing a meal. Set a timer if you have to. Third, after every play or training session. Running around, getting excited, even mental work from a training session, it all puts pressure on the bladder. Play ends, potty trip starts. Fourth, before being left alone. Every time. Before the crate, before you leave the house, before any stretch where they're on their own. Empty bladder equals a setup for success instead of a setup for failure. Fifth, right before bed.
Last thing you do, lights aren't going off until the dog has had one final chance to empty the tank. On top of those 5, I'd honestly recommend keeping a log in the early stages. Write down when the puppy eats, drinks, plays, sleeps, and eliminates. It feels like overkill, I know, but after a week or so, patterns jump out at you.
You start seeing, oh, she always goes 14 minutes after her morning meal. That kind of precision makes your life so much easier. Stick the schedule on the fridge. Everyone in the house needs to see it. And I mean everyone. Every single person in the household has to follow the routine. One person letting the puppy roam free after a meal, just once, can set you back days. Consistency isn't a suggestion here, it's the whole thing.
There's a rule of thumb most trainers use, the month-to-hour ratio. The AKC references it too. Basically, take your puppy's age in months, and that's roughly how many hours they can hold it. 2 months old, 2 hours. 4 months, 4 hours. It's not precise, it's a guideline, and it kind of falls apart after 9 months or so. These are estimates, not biology textbooks. So, when in doubt, take them out more often. You'll never regret an unnecessary potty trip. You will absolutely regret a preventable accident on your carpet. Age is the biggest factor in how long a puppy can wait, but it's not the only one. Dogs can actually hold it longer at night because their metabolism slows down when they sleep, which is good because otherwise nobody would get any rest. But during the day, especially after vigorous play or excitement, their system's running hot and they need breaks more often. A consistent feeding schedule helps a lot here because, like I said, predictable input, predictable output. And pulling the water bowl about an hour or 2 before bedtime can help them stay dry overnight. One thing though, if you notice a sudden change in potty habits, like a dog who was doing great suddenly having accidents again, don't just chalk that up to regression. That can be a medical issue.
UTIs are common in puppies. Get to the vet first, rule out the physical stuff, then troubleshoot the training. The big takeaway with the month-to-hour formula is don't use it as a target to hit. Use it as a ceiling you stay well under. You're not trying to push your Sheltie puppy to their maximum hold time. That's not training. That's setting a trap. Take them out before they reach their limit. Forcing a puppy to hold it too long isn't just counterproductive, it can actually cause bladder infections and urinary problems. Be proactive. Stay ahead of it.
Shelties are talkers, not just vocally, although yeah, they'll bark about it too, but with their whole body. They will tell you when they need to go. The question is whether you're paying attention. Learning your specific Sheltie's signals is one of the most important skills you'll develop. And I say your specific Sheltie because every dog's a little different. The broad strokes are the same, but the details, those are personal. And as they get older and develop more bladder control, the signals get subtler, so you've got to stay sharp. Here's what to watch for. Intense sniffing. If your puppy was just playing and suddenly drops their nose to the ground and starts sniffing with purpose, not casual exploring, but locked in, deliberate sniffing, that's them looking for a spot. Get them outside now. Circling, classic potty tell. They start pacing in tight little loops, coming back to the same area. It's an instinct thing, goes way back, flattening down grass, checking for threats before they put themselves in a vulnerable position. In your living room, it just looks like a weird little dance, but it means business. Restlessness and pacing. A Sheltie that suddenly can't sit still, wandering back and forth, maybe drifting toward the door they usually go out through. That's internal pressure building. Any sudden shift from calm to agitated, pay attention. Something's happening. Sudden halts in play. This one catches people off guard. Your dog's mid-fetch, having a blast, and then just stops, freezes, loses all interest in the toy. That's not boredom. That's their body telling them something more urgent needs to happen. Sneaking off. When your puppy starts quietly slipping away toward a corner or ducking behind furniture, that's a red flag. And honestly, by that point, you're already behind. They've moved past feeling the urge and they're actively looking for a spot. Move fast. Eye contact and vocalizing. Smart Shelties figure this one out quick. They'll come find you, make direct eye contact, then look at the door. Sometimes they'll whine or give a soft bark with it. And here's a tip. The "I need to go potty" whine sounds different from the "play with me" bark. You'll learn the difference. Just listen. Nudging or pawing. If the door staring and whining didn't get your attention, they'll escalate. Nose bump to your leg, paw on your arm. That's their version of, "Hey, I've been asking nicely. I need help here." Squatting or posturing. This is the last second warning. Females squat low. Males will squat when they're young and eventually start lifting a leg. For defecation, both sexes kind of hunch their back. If you see this indoors, you've got maybe 2 seconds. Scoop them up and go. The moment you catch any of these signals, get your puppy to their spot. Don't hesitate, don't finish your text message, don't say, "just a sec." Go. Very young puppies won't always signal clearly. Sometimes they just go without warning. But with time and practice, they learn to communicate, and you learn to read them. It's a two-way thing. You're both figuring it out. Okay, so accidents are gonna happen. That's not a failure, that's just puppyhood. But how you react in that moment, that matters more than almost anything else in the training process. Maybe more than the rewards, honestly, especially with a Sheltie, because they're watching you, they're reading you, and they remember. If you catch your puppy mid-accident, mid-squat, actively going, use a firm but calm just enough to interrupt, not enough to scare them. Then guide them straight to the potty spot. That's it. That's the whole protocol. And I need you to really hear this next part. Your Sheltie is not doing this to spite you. I know it feels that way sometimes. I know you just cleaned that exact spot 20 minutes ago. But they're a baby dog who's still learning the rules. Maybe they couldn't hold it. Maybe you missed the signal, which, by the way, is more common than people want to admit. Don't punish, don't yell, and for the love of everything, do not rub their nose in it. That old school advice needs to die. Shelties especially, they're so sensitive that a harsh reaction doesn't teach them don't go inside. It teaches them don't go in front of you. So they start hiding, sneaking behind the couch, going in the closet, and now you've got a harder problem than the one you started with. Every accident is information. Use it. Ask yourself what went wrong. Were the intervals between breaks too long? Did you miss a signal? The sniffing, the circling, the pacing by the door? Did the accident happen right after a meal or a play session? Take that answer and adjust. Tighten the schedule. Shorten the intervals. Get better at reading the body language. When you pair a calm interruption with a thorough cleanup and actually use each accident to fine-tune your system, it works. Your Sheltie's smart enough to get there. They just need you to be steady enough to guide them. Okay, this one drives me a little crazy because it's so fixable. Your puppy has an accident inside. You grab whatever's under the sink, some all-purpose spray, maybe some dish soap and warm water. You wipe it up, it looks clean, smells clean to you, and you move on. Done, right? No, not even close. The second your Sheltie pees on a spot, that spot is tagged, chemically marked. And their nose, we're talking about a breed that can smell things you and I literally cannot comprehend. Their nose says, yep, this is where we go. And they'll keep going back, over and over. And you'll be standing there going, why does he keep peeing in the same corner? Because you didn't actually clean it. You just made it look clean, to humanize, which is kind of irrelevant here. What you need is an enzymatic cleaner, specifically designed to break down the proteins in urine, not mask them, not cover them up, destroy them at the molecular level. Without that, you're essentially putting up a little invisible sign that says bathroom in dog language. You can't smell it. I promise you, your Sheltie can. So every time you skip the right cleaner, you're pretty much guaranteeing a repeat performance in that exact same spot. Get the Enzymatic Cleaner. Use it every single time. This is non-negotiable.
So your Shelties having accidents and you're frustrated. I get it. But before you start wondering what's wrong with your dog, let's talk about what's actually going on. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not defiance. It's not spite. Dogs don't think like that. What it almost always comes down to is a gap. A communication gap, a developmental thing, something in their environment, or, and people forget this one, a medical issue. Let's start with the most basic one. Puppies have tiny bladders, like physically tiny. And the muscles that control those bladders, they're immature. Think of it like a human baby. You wouldn't expect a 6-month-old infant to hold it, and you shouldn't expect it from a 10-week-old puppy either. The general rule, and it's a rough guideline, not gospel, is 1 hour of hold time per month of age. So your 3-month-old Sheltie, about 3 hours, max. Push past that and you're not training. You're just setting them up to fail.
Sometimes the answer is even simpler than that. The dog just hasn't learned it yet, like fully learned it. Go potty outside sounds like a simple concept to us, but for a puppy to actually internalize that as a rule, that takes hundreds, literally hundreds of successful repetitions before it clicks into something reliable. It's a process. Now, here's the one that catches people off guard. If your Sheltie was doing great and then suddenly starts having accidents again, or if your puppy's struggling despite you doing everything right, go to the vet. Before you change anything in your training, rule out a medical cause. Urinary tract infections, bladder stones, kidney problems, all of these can make a dog need to go urgently and frequently, and there's nothing any amount of training can fix if the issue is physical. Same with gastrointestinal stuff. Parasites, dietary issues, illness. If your dog has diarrhea, they can't hold it. That's not a training failure. That's a sick dog. Get them checked. Accidents are going to happen. Every puppy has them. Basically every single one. So prepare yourself mentally for that. Stock up on patience and know that this phase does end. I want to talk about something that gets mishandled constantly, and the mishandling makes it so much worse. Submissive urination and excitement urination. 2 different things, but they share one really important trait. Neither one has anything to do with potty training. Nothing. Your Sheltie isn't choosing to pee on the floor. This is involuntary. Their body is doing it without their permission, basically. Whether it's triggered by fear or by absolute over-the-top joy, the bladder just gives out. The dog has no say in the matter. Submissive urination, think of it as a hardwired appeasement thing. Goes way back. Puppies in a pack would urinate around older, dominant dogs as a way of saying, "I'm not a threat, please don't hurt me." It's a white flag. So when your Sheltie does this, they're already feeling small. They're already feeling intimidated or unsure. And if you scold them for it, you just confirmed every fear they had. You made it worse, guaranteed. Excitement urination is the flip side. Your puppy, or sometimes a young adult dog, gets so amped up, so purely happy, that their nervous system just can't keep up. The joy literally overwhelms the bladder, which is kind of adorable in concept and really annoying in practice, I know. Either way, the number one rule, and I cannot stress this enough, do not punish. Don't yell, don't scold, don't even sigh dramatically. Any reaction that adds stress is going to amplify the problem. What you do instead is manage the situation. Keep greetings low-key, quiet, calm. I know you want to make a big deal when you come home, but dial it way down. Crouch to their level instead of towering over them. Pet under the chin or across the chest, not over the head, which can feel like looming to a nervous dog.
And honestly, one of the best tricks I tell clients is just greet them outside. If the pee happens out on the grass, nobody cares. Problem managed. Long term, you build their confidence. Positive reinforcement, enrichment activities, letting them succeed at things. That's what actually fixes this. And if an accident happens inside, you clean it up calmly. No reaction, no emotion, just quiet cleanup. And hit it with that enzymatic cleaner so they don't remark the spot.
Most young Shelties grow out of both of these as they mature, and their bladder control gets stronger, and their confidence builds. Your job is to just not make it worse while that's happening. Stay calm, stay consistent, set them up so they can succeed. If it's really severe, or if it's still happening well into adulthood, talk to your vet first, rule out anything medical, and then maybe bring in a trainer who specializes in this stuff. But for most Shelties, time and patience handle it. You've had 2 solid weeks of no accidents. You're feeling good. You're thinking, okay, we've cracked this. And then your Sheltie pees on the living room rug like it's week 1 all over again. Welcome to regression. And before you spiral, this is normal. Really, genuinely normal.
Frustrating? Oh, absolutely. But it almost never means your dog is being stubborn or doing it on purpose. There's almost always a reason behind it. With Shelties, there are a few common triggers. The biggest one is the adolescent phase, somewhere between 6 and 12 months, where hormones are shifting and your dog starts testing boundaries. Kind of like a teenager, honestly.
Then there's environmental stress. You moved, you changed your work schedule, there's a new person in the house. Anything that disrupts their routine can throw them off. Another big one, and I see this a lot, is owners giving too much freedom too soon. Your puppy's been good for a stretch, so you stop watching them as closely. You let them wander the house unsupervised, and mistakes happen. And those mistakes snowball fast. Old accident spots that weren't cleaned with an enzymatic cleaner can pull them right back too. And sometimes, this is important, sudden regression is medical. A UTI can come on fast and cause urgent, frequent peeing that looks exactly like a training failure. So, step 1 when regression hits, vet visit. Before you change anything in your routine, before you start second-guessing yourself, rule out a UTI or bladder stones or diabetes or anything else physical. That's always step 1. If it's not medical, the most common culprit is, and I'm sorry to say this, training inconsistency. After a good stretch, owners relax. They stop rewarding outdoor trips. They stretch the time between potty breaks a little too far. They ease up on supervision. And look, I get it. You're tired of standing outside at 6 a.m. with treat bags in your pajamas, but your puppy isn't fully trained yet. That stretch of good days was progress, not graduation. The fix is straightforward, even if it's a little deflating. You go back to basics. More frequent potty breaks, leashed, supervised, same verbal cue every time. Big celebration when they go outside. High-value treats, genuine praise, the whole thing. Zero punishment for accidents. Enzymatic cleaner on every indoor mess, no exceptions. If stress is part of the picture, stabilize their routine. Make sure they're getting enough exercise and mental stimulation. Regression usually lasts anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. That's it. Your Sheltie already knows this stuff. You're just reminding them. Stay patient, stay consistent, and they'll get back on track. If it drags on and nothing's working, bring in a professional trainer or a veterinary behaviorist. No shame in that. Sometimes a fresh set of eyes is exactly what you need. Nobody tells you how much of potty training happens at 3 a.m., but it does. And nighttime is where a lot of owners lose ground because they don't have a plan. They're just reacting to crying and scrambling in the dark. You need a routine, a real one, and the single most important piece of it, I'd say this is maybe 78% of your nighttime success right here, is cutting off food and water about 90 minutes to 2 hours before bed. That's it. That one oath keeps their little bladder from filling up overnight and dramatically cuts down on accidents. During that last hour before sleep, wind things down. No tug of war, no zoomies, no getting them amped up. Calm activities, gentle stuff. You're trying to lower their heart rate, slow their metabolism, get their body and brain ready for a long stretch of rest. The crate is your best friend here. For the first few weeks, put it in your bedroom, right next to your bed if you can. You need to be close enough to hear them if they wake up and genuinely need to go out. And they will need to go out because, and I need you to hear this clearly, a young puppy, especially between 8 and 12 weeks, physically cannot hold it for 8 hours.
They just can't. Their bladder is too small. Expecting that is like expecting a 2-year-old to make it through the night without a diaper. It's not a training issue, it's a plumbing issue. So for the first week or two, don't wait for the crying. Be proactive. If you go to bed at 11 and you've got an 8-week-old, that puppy can probably hold it for 3, maybe 4 hours. Set an alarm for 2:30 or 3 a.m. Take them out before they have a chance to have an accident. Quick, boring trip outside, no playing, no chatting, just business, and then right back to the crate. This does 2 things. It prevents accidents, obviously, but it also teaches your puppy that you control the schedule. You're the one deciding when potty breaks happen, and that foundation, that carries over into everything else you're building.
Look, I know some people have mixed feelings about crate training, so let me just put a few things on the table. The American Kennel Club calls it one of the top potty training tools out there. Their reasoning is pretty simple. Dogs are clean animals, and they don't want to mess up their own space. The Humane Society backs it too, but they add an important caveat. It's a tool, not a magic trick. It has to be used correctly. And for some dogs, crates just aren't the right fit. Breeders, trainers, vets, basically everyone in the dog world has endorsed crate training for years. And the reason it works so well comes down to one thing: the den instinct. Dogs instinctively want a small, enclosed space that's theirs, and because they're naturally clean animals, they'll avoid soiling that space. So the crate becomes the den, and the dog is motivated to hold it until you take them to the right stop. That instinct is doing half the work for you. I use crate training with pretty much every client. Bedtime, when you're out of the house, anytime you can't directly supervise, the crate keeps your puppy from wandering off and making mistakes you don't catch. It cuts indoor accidents way down, and it reinforces bladder control as a habit. For house training as Shelties specifically, I'd call it the single most effective tool you have. It's direct, it's fast, and it's been proven over and over. But, and this is a big but, it has to be done right. The crate is a management tool, not a punishment. Never. If your Sheltie associates the crate with being in trouble, you've lost the whole point. And you cannot, I mean this, you cannot leave a puppy crated for excessive amounts of time. If you're working a 9 to 5, your Sheltie cannot be locked in a crate for 8-9 hours straight. That's not training, that's confinement. And eventually they will soil the crate because they have no other option. And then you've just destroyed the den instinct that made the whole thing work in the first place. If your schedule doesn't allow for breaks, get a dog walker. Look into doggy daycare. Figure something out. The crate works because it respects the dog's instincts. The second you abuse it, it stops working. I had a client last year. Nice woman, lived alone, worked from home, and she spent 3 weeks trying to figure out when her Sheltie puppy needed to go out.
She'd watch for the circling, the sniffing, the little whimper at the door. Caught it maybe 60% of the time. The other 40%? Yeah, carpet. So I told her about bell training, and within 10 days, her puppy was smacking a bell with his nose like he was ringing for room service. Problem solved. The idea is dead simple. You hang a bell by the door, and you teach your puppy that ringing it means I need to go outside to pee. That's it. Instead of your Sheltie doing some subtle pacing thing you might miss because you're, making dinner or checking your phone, they give you a sound you can't ignore. You need a set of bells, sleigh bells on a string work great, or one of those freestanding floor bells if you'd rather, and some high-value treats, and I mean high value, not the dry little biscuit that's been sitting in your pocket for a week, something your dog actually cares about. Pick bells that are loud enough to hear from another room, but not so loud they startle your puppy. Shelties can be sensitive about sudden sounds. You don't want to create a new problem while solving the old one. Here's how it works in stages. First, you ring the bell yourself. Every single time you take the puppy out to potty, you ring the bell on the way to the door. Say your cue word, potty, outside, whatever you pick. Ring the bell, open the door, go out. You're building the connection in their head. Bell sound equals door opens equals going outside. Next step, you teach your puppy to nudge the bell themselves. Start it as a little trick. Nose touches bell, treat happens. Then you move that to the door specifically. And now the reward shifts. The treat becomes less important, and the door opening becomes the payoff. Bell rings, door swings open immediately. Immediately. I can't stress that enough. If there's a 30-second delay while you find your shoes, you're weakening the connection. Last stage ties it all together. Your puppy rings the bell, you open the door, they go outside and actually go potty, and then the big celebration happens. Treats, praise, the whole thing. But only after they've done their business. Not just for ringing the bell, not just for going outside, for the full sequence. Where you put the bell matters. Hang it on whichever door you use most for bathroom trips, and stick with that door. If it's a floor bell, same idea, right by that exit, at a height where your Sheltie can reach it comfortably with their nose or paw. These aren't tall dogs, so check the height. I've seen people hang bells at their own eye level and then wonder why the puppy isn't using them. And look, a few things that'll make or break this. Everyone in the house has to do it the same way. Same bell, same cue word, same routine. If your partner skips the bell and just opens the door, your puppy learns the bell is optional. Also, and this is a big one, the bell is for potty only, not for I'm bored and want to go chase a squirrel. You'll know the difference pretty quick. If your Sheltie rings the bell, goes outside, and immediately starts playing instead of sniffing for a spot, that's them gaming the system. And they will try. They're smart like that. When that happens, give them about 3 minutes to go. And if they don't, back inside. No play. Bell means bathroom, period. Before your Sheltie even walks through that front door, you should have everything ready. I mean everything. Because once that puppy's in your house, you're not going to have time to run to the pet store. You're going to be busy. Trust me. Get your basics covered. Good quality puppy food. Ask your breeder or vet what they recommend. Don't just grab whatever's on sale. Stainless steel bowls, because plastic gets gross and harbors bacteria. A crate that's going to be their own little space. Not too big, not too small. We'll talk about crate sizing later, but for now, just know you need one ready to go. A collar or harness that fits properly, a standard leash, and an ID tag with your phone number on it. Day 1, not day 3, day 1. And because this is a Sheltie, and Shelties are scary smart, you need mental stimulation stuff from the start. Tough chew toys, puzzle feeders, Kongs, things that make them work for it. A bored Sheltie is a destructive Sheltie, and I promise you they'll find something to do with their brain whether you provide an outlet or not. Better it's a puzzle toy than your baseboards. Now, puppy-proofing your house. Get on your hands and knees, I'm serious. Crawl around at puppy height and look at what's down there. Electrical cords they can chew on, shoes they can destroy. Houseplants, and some of the common ones are genuinely toxic. Lilies, pothos, sago palms. Look it up for your specific plants. Household cleaners, medications, anything chemical goes up high or behind a locked cabinet. Your yard needs secure fencing. Shelties are deceptively athletic. They look like little fluff balls, and then they clear a 4-foot fence like it's nothing. Check for gaps at the bottom too. And set up a specific spot outside where you want potty breaks to happen, a designated area. This matters more than people think. It gives your puppy a consistent location with familiar scents, and it speeds up the whole training process. Inside, baby gates are your best friend. Section off a puppy zone so you're not trying to supervise an 8-week-old puppy who has access to every room in the house. That's a recipe for accidents, literally. Those first few weeks, structure is everything. Set up a daily schedule, feeding, potty breaks, play, naps, and stick to it. Puppies thrive on predictability. Start socialization early, but carefully. New people, new sounds, new textures. Gentle introductions, not overwhelming ones. And get basic obedience going with positive reinforcement. Sit, name recognition, come. Nothing fancy yet. If there's a good puppy class in your area, sign up. The structure helps you as much as it helps the dog, maybe more. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not a fan of potty pads for Shelties. I know, they seem convenient. You live in an apartment, it's raining, the puppy's tiny, you don't want to go outside at 2 a.m. in January. I get it. But here's what happens with pads, and I've seen this play out dozens of times. You put a pad down, your puppy uses it. Great. Except now you've taught your puppy that peeing inside the house is sometimes okay. And sometimes okay is a concept an 8-week-old Sheltie cannot parse. They don't understand it's fine on this pad but not on the carpet. What they understand is inside is a bathroom, and once that idea takes root, pulling it back out is genuinely hard. There's another thing. Shelties are curious little dogs with a lot of energy, and a pad on the floor is basically a toy. I've walked into client homes and found shredded pads in 3 different rooms. The puppy wasn't using it for potty. The puppy was having the time of its life destroying it. And then there's surface preference, which is the one that really gets you. Your puppy gets used to the soft, absorbent texture of the pad. That becomes their "this is where I go" feeling underfoot. So when you eventually want them going on grass or dirt or concrete outside, they're resistant because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like their bathroom. You've accidentally trained a preference you now have to untrain, which is twice the work. That said, and I want to be fair here, there are situations where pads make sense. If you're in a high-rise and your puppy physically cannot get outside fast enough, if you have a mobility issue that makes frequent trips downstairs genuinely difficult, if your vet says don't take the puppy out yet because of parvo risk in your area, if the weather is dangerous, I'm talking actually dangerous, not just inconvenient. In those cases, pads are a management tool, a temporary one. You're using them because you have to, not because they're part of your training plan. But for most Sheltie owners, skip them. Put all your energy toward getting that puppy to their outdoor spot. One consistent bathroom area, one consistent routine. Don't split the message. These are smart dogs. They pick up on patterns fast, including patterns you didn't mean to set. All right, so if you're in one of those situations where pads are actually necessary, no judgment, sometimes life is what it is, let's talk about picking the right ones. Your Sheltie is a small to medium-sized dog. Not tiny, but not huge either. So you need pads that are big enough to actually catch everything and absorbent enough to handle the volume without leaking through to your floor.
because nothing kills your motivation faster than cleaning pee off a pad and the floor underneath it. Durability matters a lot with this breed. Remember what I said about shredding? If the pad falls apart when your puppy bats at it once, it's useless. You need something with some structural integrity. And odor control? Get pads with decent odor management because you're living with this thing in your house. Your nose will thank you. So your options, roughly, break down into 3 types. Heavy-duty disposable pads. These are your grab and toss option. No laundry, no maintenance. Just use it and throw it away. The good ones have solid leak protection, and they're big enough for a Sheltie. The downside? Cost adds up. You're buying these over and over, and that recurring expense is real.
Environmentally, it's not great either. And if you cheap out on the brand, you'll get thin ones your Sheltie will rip apart in about 4 seconds. Washable pads. Better for your wallet long term and better for the planet. They tend to be tougher fabric, harder to shred, which is a plus with a playful breed. You buy them once, maybe twice, and wash and reuse. The catch is you have to actually wash them regularly, because if you let dirty pads sit, the smell builds up in the fabric, and yeah, that's not good for anyone.
The upfront cost is higher, but you make it back within a couple months. Then there's what I'd call innovative options. Things like real grass patches, bark-based systems, that kind of thing. These are actually kind of clever for Sheltie specifically because they mimic the outdoor texture. So if your long-term plan is to transition to outdoor only, which it should be, these help avoid that surface preference problem I mentioned. Your puppy's using something that feels like outside. The trade-off is they need maintenance. Real grass patches need replacing, bark gets messy, and they cost more upfront. But for a smart breed, the natural texture can genuinely support the training instead of working against it.
Whatever you pick, match it to your dog and your situation. The best pad is the one your Sheltie actually uses properly and that you can maintain consistently, because a pad you forget to change for 3 days is worse than no pad at all.
The second that puppy walks into your house, that's when you start. Not next week, not once they settle in, not after they've had a few days to adjust. The moment their paws hit your floor, potty training is happening. You carry them, don't walk, straight to their outdoor bathroom spot. They sniff around, maybe they go, maybe they don't. Either way, you've started. The ideal age is between 8 and 12 weeks, and there's a reason for that. At that age, a puppy's brain is just absorbing everything. Routines stick fast. Habits form almost instantly, which is both the good news and the scary part, because bad habits form just as quickly. So if your 8-week-old puppy pees on the living room rug 3 times in their first 2 days and nobody corrects the pattern, guess what? They've already started building a habit.
Starting early means you're shaping their understanding from day one. This is where we go. This is how it works. This is what happens when you get it right. Clear expectations, set immediately. It makes the whole process smoother. Not easy, smoother. There's a difference. Now, don't go trying to train a 6-week-old puppy if for some reason you have one that young. Before 8 weeks, their bladder control is basically non-existent, and their brain isn't quite ready for this kind of learning. 8 weeks is the floor. That's when you can realistically start building the routine.
This is the part nobody wants to hear, so I'll just say it. Potty training a Sheltie takes about 4 to 6 months before they're reasonably reliable. And reasonably reliable means you're still watching them, you're still managing. You've just graduated from constant vigilance to pretty confident most of the time. Genuinely trustworthy, like you can leave them alone in the house and not think about it, that's closer to 8 months.
Maybe a year, maybe longer. I know, I can hear the groan from here. But here's why I tell people this up front. Because if you go in expecting 4 weeks and you're still having accidents at week 6, you feel like a failure. You feel like something's wrong with your dog. Nothing's wrong with your dog. You just had bad expectations. And bad expectations lead to frustration. Frustration leads to inconsistency. And inconsistency is the #1 thing that drags this process out. Every Sheltie is different too. I've had some that were basically reliable at 14 weeks, and I've had some that were still having occasional accidents at 10 months. Same breed, same general intelligence level, totally different timelines. Some puppies are cautious, some are bold, some just learn at their own speed. You gotta tune in to your specific dog instead of comparing them to some internet benchmark. The single biggest factor in how long this takes? You. Your consistency, a steady schedule, solid supervision, and immediate positive reinforcement when they get it right, that's what accelerates this. Every time you skip a scheduled potty break, every time you let them wander unsupervised, every time you forget to reward, you're adding days to the timeline, maybe weeks, not a character flaw. Don't panic. Don't assume all your training was wasted. Just go back to basics for a few days and rebuild. It's frustrating, I won't pretend it's not, but it's part of the process. The real finish line, the I can actually relax about this point, takes the better part of a year for most Shelties. Knowing that going in makes it a lot easier to stay patient when you're mopping the floor at 6 a.m. for the 3rd time this week. I want to talk about you for a second, not your dog, you. Because patience and consistency aren't things your puppy needs to learn. They're things you need to practice. Your Sheltie's doing the best they can with an 8-week-old brain and a bladder the size of a walnut. The variable in this equation, the thing that actually determines whether this goes well or goes sideways, is you. Shelties are brilliant dogs. I mean genuinely smart. But smart doesn't mean instant. They're not going to nail this in a weekend. You're going to have days where it feels like nothing's sticking, where you've taken them out 14 times and they still peed on the kitchen floor the one time you turned your back. That's going to happen. And in that moment, you have to be the one who stays calm. Not because it doesn't matter, it does, but because losing your temper teaches your dog exactly one thing, that you're scary sometimes. And a scared Sheltie doesn't learn faster. A scared Sheltie hides to pee. Consistency means everyone in the house does it the same way. Same schedule, same cue words, same door, same reward. If you're taking the puppy out every 2 hours, but your partner lets them roam free and doesn't watch for signals, you've got a gap, and your Sheltie will find that gap. They'll figure out that the rules are different with different people, and now you don't have a training plan, you have confusion. Every puppy learns at their own speed. Some days you'll see a breakthrough and think, oh, they've got it. And then the next day they'll pee on your shoe. That's not regression, that's learning. It's messy, it's non-linear. Celebrate the wins when they come, even the tiny ones. First time they walk to the door on their own, that's huge. First time they hold it through a nap, celebrate that. This is a long game, months, not weeks. The energy you put in now, the patience, the consistency, the showing up at 5 a.m. for yet another potty trip when you'd rather stay in bed, all of it compounds. You're building a relationship with a dog who's going to be your companion for the next 12, 13, 14 years. The work you do right now is the foundation for all of it. Okay, let's run through the mistakes I see most often, and I see these a lot, like weekly, even from smart, well-meaning owners who are trying their best. These are the traps everyone falls into. Punishing accidents. I put this first because it's the most damaging. Your Sheltie pees on the carpet and you yell at them, or rub their nose in it. And yes, people still do this. And what do they learn? They don't learn don't pee inside.
They learn don't pee in front of the human, so they start sneaking off. Behind the couch, under the bed, in the guest room, nobody checks. You've taken a training problem and turned it into a hiding problem. Way worse. Inconsistent schedule. Shelties, honestly all dogs, but especially smart breeds, need predictability. If breakfast is at 7 a.m. one day and 10 a.m. the next, and potty breaks happen whenever you remember, their internal clock can't calibrate. Their body doesn't know when to expect a chance to go out. And when the body doesn't know, accidents happen. Set a schedule. Stick to it, even on weekends. Too much freedom too soon. This one kills me because it feels like kindness. Oh, I don't want to keep them cooped up. They should be able to run around the house. No, not yet. An untrained puppy with access to 6 rooms is an untrained puppy who's going to pee in 5 of them. Use baby gates. Use the crate. Use a leash attached to your belt if you have to. Earn freedom room by room over weeks and months. Improper cleaning. You clean up the accident with regular spray cleaner. Looks clean, smells clean to you. Your Sheltie's nose is about, 10,000 times more sensitive than yours? Something like that. They can still smell it, and that residual scent tells them this is a bathroom spot. You need an enzymatic cleaner, specifically enzymatic. It breaks down the proteins in urine that regular cleaners leave behind. Use it every time. Soak the area. Don't skip this. Relying on potty pads. I already covered this, but it bears repeating in a mistakes context. Pads teach your puppy that going inside is sometimes fine, and then your Sheltie looks at the bath mat and thinks, close enough. If you can possibly avoid them, avoid them. Weak rewards. You take your puppy outside, they pee in the right spot, and you go, good dog, in a flat voice and walk back inside. That's not a reward. That's nothing. You need to make going potty outside feel like winning the lottery. High-value treats, chicken, cheese, whatever makes their eyes light up, delivered within seconds of them finishing, and genuine enthusiasm. I know it feels silly praising a dog for peeing. Do it anyway. The strength of the reward directly determines how motivated they are to hold it next time. Confusing potty time with playtime. You take your Sheltie outside for a potty break, and they immediately start running around, sniffing everything, chasing leaves. 5 minutes later, you give up and bring them inside. They relax on the carpet and go. Every time. The fix is simple. Potty first, play second. Stand in the designated spot. Be boring. Wait for them to go. Then play happens as an extra reward. Don't let them turn bathroom time into recess. Missing their signals. Puppies almost always tell you before they go. Circling, sniffing the floor suddenly and intently, whimpering. Heading toward a corner, moving toward the door, or away from you. If you're on your phone or in another room and you miss those cues, that's on you. During training, eyes on the puppy. That's the job. Using the crate wrong. The crate is supposed to be their safe spot, their den, the place they feel comfortable and secure. If you use it as punishment, bad dog, go to your crate, you've poisoned it. Now it's a place they associate with being in trouble, and they're not going to want to be in there. And if you leave them in the crate for 6, 7, 8 hours straight, they're physically going to have to go in there. And once a puppy soils their crate, that keep my den clean instinct starts breaking down. Hard to get that back. Mishandling regressions. Your Sheltie's been doing great for 3 weeks, and then boom, accident on the hallway runner. And your first instinct is frustration. They know better. They're doing this on purpose. No, they're not. They're a baby dog going through a developmental phase. Regressions are normal. They're expected. When they happen, you go back to the basics. More supervision, more frequent potty breaks, more rewards. You don't punish, you don't get angry, you just reset. Calmly. That's the whole move. Shelties were working dogs before they were ever pets. I think people forget that, or they never knew it in the first place. They see this pretty, fluffy, medium-small dog and think, oh, cute companion breed. But these dogs were developed on the Shetland Islands, up in Scotland, windswept, rocky, harsh conditions. And their job was herding sheep, managing a flock across rough terrain, making decisions on the fly, reading their handler signals from a distance. That's what they were bred for. That's what's in their DNA. And that matters for training. It matters a lot. Because when your Sheltie follows you from room to room, that's herding instinct. When they seem to always be watching you, waiting for direction, that's the working dog brain looking for a job. When they get anxious being left alone, that's a dog bred to work in partnership with a human who suddenly doesn't have a partner to work with. It all connects back. The best thing you can do, the single most effective approach, is work with that wiring instead of against it. Give them a job. Give them structure. Give them problems to solve.
A Sheltie with nothing to do is a Sheltie who's going to create their own entertainment, and you're probably not going to love what they come up with. For the separation anxiety tease specifically, and a lot of Shelties deal with this, you teach them gradually that being alone is safe. Don't just leave for 8 hours on day 1. Start with short absences. Reward calm behavior when you leave and when you come back. And I mean calm on your end too. Don't make departures a big emotional scene. Just go. Come back. No fanfare. Give them structured exercise, mental challenges, puzzle toys, and this is the part I really push. Consider activities like agility or herding trials if you have access, or scent work. These aren't just hobbies. For a Sheltie, they're fulfillment. They're the dog getting to do what their brain was built to do, getting them comfortable with different people, different dogs, different environments.
But do it thoughtfully. Positive experiences, controlled introductions, not just throwing them into chaos and hoping they figure it out. I cannot overstate how important socialization is for Shelties. I really can't. These dogs are perceptive, like extremely perceptive. They notice everything, every new sound, every unfamiliar person, every dog they haven't met. And that perceptiveness is a gift when it's paired with confidence. You get a dog who's aware of their surroundings, but steady, calm, able to tell the difference between that's a delivery guy, totally normal, and that's something actually wrong. But without proper socialization, that same perceptiveness turns into reactivity, fear, territorial behavior, barking at everything. A Sheltie who hasn't been socialized is a Sheltie who thinks every new thing is a potential threat because they've never learned otherwise. So you start early. Introduce them to new people, different ages, different builds, people wearing hats, people with beards, kids. Do it in controlled settings where you can manage the interaction. Let the puppy approach on their terms, don't force it. Same with other dogs and animals. Positive, managed introductions. Not just, here's a dog park, good luck. Speaking of dog parks, hold off on those, at least until your puppy is fully vaccinated, older, and has a reliable recall. Dog parks are chaotic. You can't control the other dogs there. You can't control the other owners. For a young Sheltie who's still building their understanding of the world, that's too much, too fast. Get them used to household sounds. The vacuum cleaner, Shelties and vacuums, that's a whole thing. Blenders, the doorbell, traffic noise, construction sounds if you're in an urban area. Start at low volume, pair it with treats, gradually increase. Don't just flip on the vacuum next to a 12-week-old puppy and hope for the best. Here's something specific to Shelties that I want you to hear. Their herding instinct can show up as nipping, especially at kids, especially at people who are running or moving quickly. That's not aggression, that's herding behavior misfiring in a domestic context. Early socialization and redirection is how you prevent it from becoming a habit. You teach them that chasing and nipping at people isn't their job. But you have to do that early, before it's established. The critical socialization window is roughly the first 3 to 4 months of life.
After that, it gets harder. Not impossible, but harder. So use that time. Be intentional about it. And always, always be your puppy's advocate. If a stranger wants to pet them and your puppy is shrinking back, you say no. If a bigger dog is being too much, you remove your puppy from the situation. Your job is to make sure every new experience is a positive one, or at least a neutral one, never a scary one.
One important note: make sure your puppy has completed their initial vaccination series before you're exposing them to unknown dogs or places where unvaccinated dogs might have been. Parvo is real. It's serious. Talk to your vet about what's safe and when.
That first year with your puppy, it's the most important one, by a lot. And the American Kennel Club actually has 2 programs built around exactly that idea. The first is the STAR Puppy Program.
STAR stands for Socialization, Training, Activity, and Responsibility, which, okay, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the program itself is solid. It's designed for puppies under a year old, and it's structured as a 6-week course run by an AKC-approved evaluator. They assess 20 specific skills over the course of the program, and the emphasis is on improvement, not perfection, which I appreciate, because perfection at this stage it's not a thing. Your puppy's a baby. Progress is the goal. The second program is the Canine Good Citizen, or CGC. This one's the gold standard for basic dog manners. Your dog has to pass a 10-skill test: greeting a stranger calmly, walking through a crowd without losing it, staying composed around distractions and other dogs.
That kind of stuff. Real-world scenarios. And it's open to any dog, any breed, any age. The CGC title actually carries weight too. Therapy dog programs look for it. Some landlords and insurance companies recognize it. It's a credential that means something beyond a ribbon on the wall. Both of these are now official ATC titles, by the way. They can go on your dog's registered name, which is kind of cool.
And they're designed to work together. STAR Puppy first, then CGC as the next step. It's a pathway. You're building foundational skills in the first program and then proving them in the second. The whole thing is guided by AKC-approved CGC evaluators, people who've been trained to maintain a consistent standard across the board. Is it necessary? No. You can raise a great dog without ever touching an AKC program. But I'll say this, the structure helps, especially for first-time owners who aren't sure what trained actually looks like. It gives you a framework and a goal. And for a Sheltie who genuinely thrives with structured learning and a job to do, it's kind of a perfect fit.